under open meeting law and videotaped meetings, I'm required to report that if your meeting is videotaped, the open meeting law requires you to advise open session meeting attendees as follows. The open session public meetings are subject to being recorded. Your image and your voice may be recorded. Per the open meeting law, Mass General Laws 30A, Section 20E. And where the Personnel Committee, it's Wednesday, August 24th, and Claire Pond and Sue Terrian in attendance, with guests Margaret Nardowitz and the interim town administrator June Poland and Chief Clark. Okay. The first item of business is minutes.
Make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
So we had two sets of minutes from 7:13 and 8:3. That motion made. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and then we had that one, I wasn't sure, on the library page resignation, does that need to go through Dennis first before
We
it comes
haven't-
to us? That
We have the copy, but I don't have the actual original yet, so.
Okay.
He never dropped it off.
Okay,
So,
should we wait for that?
I would say yes, so we
Okay.
actually have the original documentation on it,
Okay,
but you are aware of it.
yep, okay, great. All right, and then the next order of business was position reviews and vacancies and job descriptions. So I know the chief wanted to bring to us a job description, and I did take a look at it, and Sue, I know you were looking at it too.
Yep. And my two things
There is a new one,
I brought up my two things,
No, this is a different one though, they're working on
is that
that
it
one.
said,
DPW,
Department of Public Works.
yeah, change that to highway.
Yep, and I also
This is
had,
the,
I couldn't find Corey in here, and I just think Corey should be written
Okay,
specifically
so
in every.
it was.
Well, that's done, the Corys are done on a new hire annually anyway.
I know, I
Yep,
just
but
think
just
it's, if we have to say it 3 times, I'd rather Corey is written specifically on everyone.
So I'm trying to figure out which one is the most recent one, because I received like 3 or 4 of them.
Here's the one with the changes that were received to me after I
Okay,
got back from vacation to change the wording on those
okay,
two things.
and that's the one that I thought.
The date that, the latest.
Okay, so I did have some questions on that, and
Good, good.
I wanted to, I don't know, I guess I'm trying to figure out whether it should be worded, because the first one that you did the fire lieutenant duties, and then you did the fire prevention officer duties
I
after.
just put the two
Yep, you
together.
combine the two.
Right.
It has the roles and responsibilities of all
Right,
those, both
right.
positions.
But at the same, so I guess I was trying to figure out on, let's see, Department of Public Works, I had that. And then on the first page, it says under work is performed primarily in offices. So some work is performed at emergency scenes. So I think we had asked that question whether this was an office position, and you had said
Nope.
that no, it was not.
Well, I think he does, that position has a lot of documentation that needs to
Right.
be done, either scheduling, like today was a lot of time was involved in looking up use groups and suppression systems for an occupancy that's in town.
Yep.
So it's like, but when the bell rings, all that's dropped and we go to the street.
Okay.
Everybody goes.
Okay.
If it's something minor and he can send the guys on the floor out and do it.
Yep.
And he has that ability to delegate as a lieutenant.
Yep.
Do I have to go? And if I don't, well, I can say, if he's really busy on something, I'll say, you stay and finish, I'll go.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah.
So I think one of the things that happened here, I'm sure you probably got some help doing this, or
just
did
did
you
it.
type it?
I did it.
You did it? Okay.
Well, no.
No, and I
typed
don't
the
mean
whole
that
thing.
offensively,
It's that
please.
new format that
Yeah.
was done when they
Yeah.
had a
Yep,
consultant.
yep,
I
Sandy
forget the
came in,
name.
Sandy.
And I just took that and
Yeah.
reworked some of the sections.
Right, so I guess one of the things that, starting with,
What page you on?
page 1,
Okay.
under work is performed primarily in offices, usually that bullet, the next bullet, and the next 1, 2, 3, usually go under job environment. And the items that are in job environment are the tasks
Oh, I
that
didn't
should
even
be
catch that.
under essential functions.
Okay, that's easy to move that. This was just the way that format was, that I got from the consultant.
Yeah.
So I just tried to,
Right,
Yep.
like,
yeah,
make it workable, but not change as least amount as possible, because that's the format that was given me.
So these are the environments.
So to environment, so work and then.
You went down.
Work and then regularly operates, move those to work
so I
environment.
think all the items that are listed on page 3 of 4, under job environment, those, and on to the next page, until you get to some work is performed under typical office conditions.
Yep,
All those are items that need to go under the essential functions, where it says job environment.
okay.
Those are
Could-
tasks.
I didn't
Go
get all
back
that.
and
Could you just
go back
undo
to
that
the
one
beginning.
more time?
Okay.
Job environment, move those, which ones to
So
essential function?
the ones on page 1 and 2.
Wait a minute. We're going two different ways.
Okay, so the one, just so I'm clear and understand what you want, on page 1, move the work is performed and regularly operates to a work environment.
Yeah, as well as the next 3 bullets on the next page. Those go under job environment.
Okay, yep.
Then, education looked okay. What else did I write here? Okay, the footer as well. This is not a salaried exempt position, is it? It's not exempt.
I'm seeing, where's that one?
It's a footer at the bottom of the page. Fair Labor Standards Act exempt.
That's what was on the form.
It's on,
That's what was there when I got it, I didn't touch it.
okay, so this is,
So you're gonna, yeah,
Do you want me to delete it?
yeah,
say
that
yeah.
needs to be
Oh, that-
deleted
yeah.
because it's not an exempt
That's easy.
Yeah, no,
it's
that's-
not a
yeah.
salaried position.
Delete?
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, Chief, that one is probably not on the sheet you're seeing, it's probably when it prints, it's automatically being printed.
Oh,
So
that
you
could
have
be.
to go in and
Yeah,
we'll relook at that.
yeah, okay.
No,
That's why you probably didn't even see it there before, because it's not on your screen.
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like, if it's there, if I can see it, I just didn't touch it because it was there. So it's,
Okay. The next question I had was on the knowledge, ability, and, well, I think that's.
Oh, wait a minute, don't you want
Can
to?
we back
okay,
up one
go
time?
back to
Go
job
into job
environment.
environment?
That
Yeah.
you
And you want to
changed
move what to, back to
tasks.
essential?
So all the items on page 3 of 4
Yep, under job environment, go to essential.
go to essential functions, yep,
Okay, I'm just gonna write it down, give me a second.
because those are functions or tasks.
But did you stop though?
And then on this next
Okay, move
page,
to
all
essential
the way
function,
to
all-
some work.
Yeah, all the
so
way,
n- So now we're down to,
and she stopped there. So these tasks and up go under essential
so
function.
from performs up gets moved. Yep,
Yep,
okay, I'm with you.
we got it.
Yep, I got
This
it.
is what happens when we all get old. It takes
So
all
what-
3 brains.
One of the questions I had is this, because under supervision, it says performs highly responsible duties requiring independent judgment and initiative in planning, organizing, and directing the work of the fire department. Are we okay with that? Is this
Yep,
a,
he, in the Fire Prevention Bureau, again, that when I see that, I interpret that there as the Fire Prevention Bureau and also as the lieutenant, with the deputy busy at a new job, he's kind of like unofficially the second in command.
Right.
So
Okay.
it's like the deputy's
All right.
up to, went from career at Northborough to a captain to a deputy in Devens. He tries hard to get here, but doesn't have the time that he did when he was
Yeah.
a captain.
Okay.
So he has picked up some of that workload, and
But he's still only, and the deputy's still only 4 hours, so really, this person is second in charge, correct?
when okay, the quick way to answer that question, when I went on vacation, I left him in charge,
Right, that's how I,
Okay,
the lieutenant.
all right,
Because the deputy's available and comes, and the chief releases him during the day if we have something serious, but he's coming from Devens.
yeah.
okay, all right. Let's see, what was the other questions I had? I think that was really it for questions. I did want to find out from you, now, we did make that other position
Interim.
interim. So I'm wondering why we wouldn't make this a temporary reassignment of duties until the new chief or the new town administrator comes on board. I don't know if that's something that, I know there's maybe you guys
Well,
know
what-
the answer to,
The way that we're doing is that the chief is a strong chief, so if he wants to change that. But I think
Okay.
also that we need to, in that time period from now till that happens, we need to move forward with the fire prevention, and we're not able to completely do it with him being here only 3 days. So it's like, we need to get him in here all the time.
Yeah.
Monday to Thursday,
yeah,
7 to 5:30, so
Yeah.
he gets his 42 hours a week and be functional. There's a lot going on in town, fire prevention wise.
yeah,
And we also have him as the secondary supervisor after me during the week when we're there,
all
so.
right. So what you're saying is that a new TA or a new fire chief, if they wanted to, because at the last meeting, we spoke about sharing those duties and how we're the only town around that has a designated fire prevention
that-
person.
Nope, Bolton does. They have an officer up there that does, his primary job is fire prevention, and he goes on fires.
Not
I'm
from-
talking to my guys that are in that,
Yeah.
like Jeff said no.
You're
Yeah,
saying two
the
different things, though.
The gentleman
I mean, I
that
think you're
got
both saying
back to
two
me.
different things.
Yeah, and said that, that they share the inspections, and the chief does most of the inspections over in Bolton.
Okay, I was told different, but that's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I guess,
Well,
I just want to find out
But that
what
drove
your
where we are
thought-
now, because now we're
Yeah.
combining functions.
Yeah,
Now we're
So
combining.
I
you
do
know,
understand
You want to
that.
get away from that.
Restructuring. We
Yeah.
like the word
It's a
restructure.
restructure.
Yeah.
And we're combining those two functions, because it's a natural
Yeah.
fire department fit. I did this for years,
Yeah.
just like this.
Yeah.
I did it as a senior firefighter, and I did it at
Yeah.
the same thing,
Yeah.
because before we had lieutenants, and then I did it as a lieutenant.
yeah. But if a new chief were to come in, they would be able to restructure it so
Yeah,
that
strong
it's a
chief.
shared responsibility,
Yeah.
if that's the way that chief wants to
Well,
run
it is shared.
things.
The way I'm understanding, it's shared now because the lieutenant sends other people out to do the
Okay.
inspections.
Yeah,
It's
we-
very
yeah.
similar to the one that I talked to
All
you
right.
tonight.
He can have this, some of the people have got the training and the certification to do some of the
Okay.
minor inspections,
All
like
right.
propane.
I did not know.
26F, which is a, chapter 148, 120, is 26F, is like the resale of homes have to have smoke and CO detectors
Yep.
located in certain positions, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
right,
And they
yeah.
have other people that can go out and do that.
Right, okay.
So
I
when they're
didn't-
on duty,
Yeah.
he can delegate authority to them to
Yeah.
say, hey, this is the schedule for today
Yeah.
at the beginning of the
Yeah.
shift. Okay, they're in at 6, they get all the house duties done. At 7 o'clock, when he gets in, he looks at the schedule and
Okay.
said, okay, you need to have and it's already happened, you need to be on blah, blah, blah street at 7, this street at 9,
Yeah.
get 26Fs done.
All
That
right.
simple.
All right.
So,
Okay,
Because when I called in, the thing I noticed is when I called Bedford, which has much more complicated inspections
Yeah,
than we do.
right.
I learned that quickly.
right.
How do you figure, why would they say that?
Because they have more chemical facilities. A lot,
Well,
you
they've
know.
got Hanscom.
Well, they got chemical, all that stuff. So it's just,
Well, the
but,
airfield's all government, they don't.
yeah, the airfield they don't do.
Oh,
The airfield, yeah.
But the
Yeah.
chemical facilities are, but this is very similar to what they're doing.
okay.
Is your lieutenant, your captain, whatever.
I did this exact job that he's doing for 16 years.
Yep, the captain is in
In a
charge
much
of it.
busier
but he-
place,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
all right.
They do maybe 500 to 600 inspections a year. I did 9 to 12 every year.
And you're comfortable with just giving the duties and to a person that's already here and
I am very comfortable. I wouldn't do
Okay.
it. Or if I didn't feel comfortable, I would look outside. I
and
would keep them
what do the
separated.
other staff feel about this?
I have not got any negative feedback at all from anybody, and it's been discussed at some union meetings, and no feedback
Yeah.
back. So it's like, if someone's saying something, it's not to me.
Okay, just trying to prevent, you
No,
know,
no.
the
Yeah.
situation that occurred before.
Yep, no,
You know.
I don't feel like it's the same situation.
Okay,
We're trying to be, reorganize and restructure it so that it's like the functions get done, and it's done to meet the demands of the community, not to meet the demands of an individual.
okay. All right,
No, they're actually pretty busy, and I can tell he's really in a good spot because when we talk, he asks the right questions. I can tell that he's into it, and he's
good.
processing a lot of stuff in the right direction.
okay.
We spent an hour today on stuff, so it's like, and I'm just busy. I think I have enough experience to be dangerous now, you know what I mean? I just haven't done it in so long. I have to go back and review some of the stuff sometimes.
Okay,
but
so stay on a bit.
That used to
okay?
be so instinctive with me. It's just been so many years.
I know, don't you,
Not this late. in the
don't you
game.
get us in trouble.
No, not at all. No, not at
Giving
all.
you,
That's part of like,
he loves me.
yeah,
I'm his
No.
least favorite person in town.
that's an important part of it. You never make decisions unless you know the final answer, and if you don't, you ask for time to do it.
That's me.
Mhm.
I
It's
don't
an
ask the
important-
question
it's an
unless I know the
important,
answer.
like, part of what you're doing there, because people bring up stuff and so they
Oh.
don't know. You
And this
get
is-
there.
You just reminded me, and this has all gone through all your union and everything, so that
There's
part's
no
awesome.
objections in the union.
That's what I just wanna,
Yep.
Yeah, I
I
didn't.
think I was asked that, did you ask me that question?
Yep.
Okay. All right, then I think we need to see a revised, do we want to,
I'm comfortable with those changes.
Okay.
The way that you said it, if he does it that way, I'm
Okay.
comfortable making the motion with the amendments
okay.
to pass.
But we do want to see the final,
Yeah, we wanna see
Fine.
it, but I'm at least comfortable saying
Yeah.
I agree with it.
okay.
Can we move the position, or you need to see the final draft first?
No, I think we can approve the job description with the
those-
recommended
And as soon as
changes.
the inks, before the inks dry, I'll send you a copy. And you guys also, I know, you don't care. June. I can tell you've been out in the sun, got a change,
She just looks too good, that's all. Yeah.
I've been in the woods.
that's even better.
Okay. So, the committee will need to see the final
Yep,
job description
Yep.
with
You will see that tomorrow.
the changes,
cut and paste.
okay?
I
And
can't do that.
Yep.
so, let's see, I guess I'll make a motion that we approve the draft job description, but also review the final changes in the job description.
Second.
There's really no changes, it's just putting
You're
you in a
just
different
moving it
spot,
around.
right?
Yep.
Now, and I ask you, can I plan to implement this like for, say, September 1st? I'm just picking a date. Are you happy with that? If I get you unless something goes on and I'm tied up all day
Here's a
tomorrow?
strong sheet.
They approve the
Uh,
job descriptions.
Oh, so the select board would still need to.
Oh, they-
do
okay.
the final.
Okay, all right, okay.
We have
I
a
didn't know that.
tentative meeting for next Monday, but it may not happen until
The following.
the.
Okay, so they have to have signed off before I can do it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I didn't know that.
So, yeah,
Okay.
so as soon as
Yep.
we get the final, I can
10.
bring it forward.
Yep.
And Chief, I was in the audience on Monday night, so
I didn't see
I
you.
laughed. I laughed when you said, "I don't know if
You
Margaret's
remember me saying
listening,"
that?
but-
Remember me saying that in the office? I looked at that, I said, I'm sorry, I don't know if I can help you do this.
Yeah,
They have all this
I
stuff,
was
and I said,
listening.
I don't have any of this paperwork. You know what I mean? I went to the school of hard knocks.
Yeah, I liked when they said that to you, so.
Yeah. No.
Okay. So the next order of business is, let's see, do we have any town administrator information? Thank you very much for
I'll get you that
coming.
copy.
Okay, great.
Hopefully tomorrow if nothing goes on.
Okay, and before you go,
Yes,
Yep,
ma'am.
yep.
before you
I
go,
have a-
chief,
I have a different one.
the,
I'll send all these down.
because the selectmen are gonna
Oh,
ask us
okay.
about this, are there any,
What?
the job description for
Fire chief.
fire chief? Are there
It's
any?
It's right there.
It's a, it,
I
she
got it
has
right
a
Sorry,
newer
it's-
one.
sorry.
I just was
little-
chatting with June in the
Did you
No,
hallway.
you
get
get
rid of
one?
that one, chief.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Good-
get rid of that
this
one. Yep.
Yep.
Get rid
Myron
of
has
this
the
one?
newest and greatest.
Yep, the one that I just
Yep.
distributed, it is the current approved fire chief job
Yep.
description.
This
All
one.
right.
Okay, so. if
Yeah,
you
that's
can-
the one that's attached to chief's contract at the moment, yes.
Yeah, well, if you can just look it over and tell us some of the ones that you think, because I know the select board's gonna be,
Yeah,
asking
yeah, 'cause they
us.
were actually requesting us to do
Yeah,
that.
no, I had that on my list. That was either tomorrow or Friday thing to get that done, so. No, piece of cake.
The, the only thing that I marked on one of those copies was changed Board of Selectmen to Select Board, because I know
Yeah.
that you have prescribed duties under statute, so I wasn't gonna fool with those unless you reviewed them.
Yep.
So this is the draft fire EMS chief.
well, this is,
This
This
is
is
the
the-
current.
it's the current,
Oh,
it's not the
current.
draft.
Yeah, so this is just if the chief finds anything that's really out of line, pretty much, or,
Yeah. So I hope we don't have to change it. I mean, come on. Does it,
I just
pretty
like,
thorough.
yeah, that's like,
does it have to say, does this one say masters? Does it have to say masters?
So you're asking for him to take a look at it and review it?
yeah, because
Just
we're.
a
we're
review.
You
gonna
didn't want to
actually
do
start-
it at this meeting, did you?
No,
Okay.
no, I just wanted to bring it up to everybody so that we can start looking at it, and then hopefully at the next meeting, we
Yeah.
can,
No, it doesn't, okay.
or if we have recommendations, we can, if there's not a lot of changes, we can also recommend
Do
it
they have
and
to have a?
send it.
nothing
to the-
jumps at me when I looked at it when we did that extension, so it's like, I'll
Yeah.
just go over it one more time.
It's not in the HRS standardized format that we use now, but that's really, that's not substantive, that's
Okay.
just changing the way it looks.
Because
Format.
unfortunately, the time is coming really quick for the chief to,
I don't, okay, after
So-
this, nobody else can leave for a year.
but
Yeah.
we're trying to do it proactively and versus waiting until the last minute.
Right.
Right.
No, I
Yeah.
think this is a good idea.
So.
So the date, yep, it is, good. So-
Thanks for your help with this.
Okay,
I'm just happy that I won't be bugging you for a while now.
That's why I keep the doors locked. huh?
He keeps the doors
It's on
locked.
tape. You said you're not gonna bother him, it's on tape.
It's on- He can bring it back for me to see again.
all right.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, chief.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Chief.
Have a nice
I
night.
miss you already.
Yeah, take care. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
So, let's see, the next item of business. Any town administrator information that you'd like to share with us?
The only other PAF that's on hold right now is Kristen's for our new town administrator, but she is still going through all of her personnel paperwork to get it ready for Dennis, so.
Okay.
Yeah. And as of
And
right now, it
is
looks
it-
like her start date is gonna be the 16th of
Okay.
September. That's an intentional, I have not done one for Margaret's termination.
On the
yet.
15th. I'll draw it up and send it over to the TA.
I thought you did that already.
Not her determination, no, because she's still assisting at this time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Termination
She's
is
just
effective
not-
before
She's
the
not
TA
No,
starts.
but I thought-
effectively as TA, but she is still here.
Right, right, but are you gonna stay on and do like special projects or no, you won't?
No, that ends
Okay.
when the TA starts.
Okay.
So, but I will talk, I'll communicate. but I-
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
okay,
she's
yeah.
not, she's not
Yeah.
dumping
Beyond-
and running, so.
Won't be on payroll anymore.
Okay,
That's
all
fine. I
right.
know, but it's okay.
She
I'll
can only
still-
come for fun. Too bad we don't have a meeting.
So, yeah, I apologize, I don't have anything else interesting to give you tonight.
Okay, and
That's
the
good.
other thing was on this, I brought in this invoice that we got for the Massachusetts Municipal Human Resources Association.
That's your yearly dues.
Right, and I think we usually pay them after July 1st for this year, right? So is this something that I bring to our committee to have us approve? Okay, so I have, it's $225 for the MMHR dues. There's a lot that goes with it. It's a lot of those emails that we get.
A lot of those emails that we
Yeah,
get.
oh my word. Well, it's the whole group.
I know. No,
In terms of getting the.
it's good. Some of them are very interesting to read.
And they
Yeah,
are getting better with the benchmark, is that what it's
yeah,
called? Where they actually have the salaries and the wages.
yeah,
And it seems like more of the towns are participating in getting
Yeah,
that out there,
good,
so that could be
good.
hopefully beneficial to us to keep where we need to be
Yeah.
versus having to wait for another HR
Great.
study.
Right. No, I'd make a motion that we pay that
Great.
bill
All right.
out of our big budget.
And no discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And do you need me to write on here, approved by personnel, or no?
No, but I do need you to both sign the bill schedule that's attached to that.
Oh, that's just the,
Oh, there should, like,
This
that
here?
right there, yes, you're gonna
Okay.
just put the who we're paying, what you approve, and then if you can both sign.
okay. So that is. Please, for $225. And right here. And today's date is 8/24. 22, Personnel Committee. Okay, so. Okay. Now- Right. All right. Next, 225. Nothing else that you can think
I
of?
actually do have one question for you that came up.
Okay.
Do we need to do a full physical for our new PA, or can we just get a letter from a primary care doctor that clears her for the job if we give them a job description?
What do we do for everybody else? We would do the same thing that we do for everybody.
Actually, we're having a really hard time right now with physicals. We're having a hard time finding a place that will actually allow us to come in and do physicals.
Yeah,
We have started actually using ReadyMed because we can't get into Marlborough Hospital. They won't call us back to set up a,
really?
yeah. Or then we will, and then they don't call people back to schedule the appointment. So right now, we're having a hard time. We did have our last hire, I believe, actually worked with his doctor.
Okay.
And we just sent him the job description, gave it to the doctor, and the
If
doctor
we've done
came
it
down.
for anybody
So-
else, I would,
But I mean, if you are comfortable with that, but at this point, that's what we're running into is
Yeah.
just, I mean, we did have, I think the last one was at ReadyMed
okay.
and,
Is that the one in
through
Hudson?
Mary, yes.
Okay.
The only thing is I'm not sure on how that's gonna be handled because, as far as the payment goes. For
Right,
the physicals. I
Right.
don't, cause normally we pay for the physicals.
right,
So at this point, I don't know, I was working with Mary to try to see if we can figure out a way to do that where at
Okay.
ReadyMed they would bill us versus.
Right.
But,
yep, okay.
so it's not that we're trying to get out of paying for it,
Right.
it's just we
Oh,
can't
no.
find doctors
Right.
to actually set up these appointments at this point.
Are they saying what days that, are there certain days of the week that these organizations, like MedWorks, for instance, are they
Yeah.
only open so many days a week, or
We're having a
is
really
the
hard time getting,
the practitioner not there?
yeah,
I think they only do it on certain days, and then there's a backlog because they've cut back the number
Yeah.
of days they're doing
Yeah.
it, so it's taking
And,
weeks.
cause I
Yeah.
know actually we
Yeah.
had, one of the drivers at COA, and it actually took over 4 months.
Oh, my
And
Highway's
it's
word.
like,
having a
okay,
hard
this
time.
is not
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
working at all. So, I mean, we're even attempting it in different places now where it's like, I think we've got one in Milford and one in Marlborough now.
Yeah.
And I don't think we reached out to Clinton
There's
Hospital. I
also
don't think
a,
they do it, but-
one, it's called, oh God, it's at the bottom of the Wegmans Plaza there on the left. It's a,
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
yeah,
Isn't that like a,
one of my family members just went there for a DOT physical.
Okay.
And, same day. Same day.
Well, that's what
DOT.
one of the guys just did, is he walked into Ready Med and asked them,
Yep,
you know, would you
Yeah.
just do it? And
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, give us
Yeah.
a job description and we'll do whatever it is
Yeah.
we gotta do.
So
and we'll
if
sign
she
off."
has her, if we give her the job description and she goes to her doctor, as long as, but I feel very strongly that we have to give the job description
Oh,
to that
absolutely,
physician.
yeah, no, that's what.
Because I've heard this before on other physicals, like when I've helped out at Highway. You know, they're having a hard time getting
Yeah.
the physicals.
I mean, like I said, we can try to get her in at Ready Med and just have her do that also.
Yeah.
But she actually has a doctor's appointment that she was gonna go to, so she's like, well, I can just ask him to do whatever paperwork we need, if it was okay with you.
He signs it, and
And he's a real doctor.
he has the description, and
Okay.
I've heard the stories, how hard it is to
I mean,
get
we're
those.
still working on something that we're gonna use routinely, but we've never had this type of problems like we have.
okay. Yeah, so that's good, Joan, I think we're good, I think we're going on the right
Okay,
path.
so I think
As long
that's-
as we're being consistent.
And I
Yep.
think that's the way we'll do it, as long as that we can work it that way. At this point, it's just like the financial end of it is the only thing that's bothering me.
Right.
As far as the insurance
Yep.
company's paying for it versus not, but we're continuing to look into it.
Yep.
Okay. Then did you want feedback on the application for employment and the PAF?
Here's a copy for Sue. This is a first pass draft, and I want to say there's no urgency in updating it, but our current job application is not
It's not.
compliant.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I thought it would be at least good to start a new draft that is
Okay.
compliant.
Yeah,
And, I mean, feedback would be great, but if you want to wait until Kristen starts to finalize it, I
Okay.
don't see that it's, it's an emergency situation. It's
All
just,
right.
we need to
great.
get it in
My
line.
only concern is that right now we have openings again at
In-
Highway.
We have Siri,
Yeah.
yes.
And honestly, I don't feel comfortable with us actually using the application we have now, just because
Okay.
it's got the social security number on it and other personal information.
Yeah,
Resident
Jim,
alien
did you-
number? Come on,
You
Did-
know.
Did you have a chance to look
I
through
did.
this? Did you see anything out of the ordinary or anything that?
I did have a couple of questions on it. I mean, I thought overall it was pretty good. But one of the issues that I had is I didn't know if we could actually ask if people have served in the US Armed Forces.
So I think that we can ask if they've served in the U.S. Armed Forces. I don't know if, I don't think it has to be mandatory,
Okay.
but I don't think it's illegal to ask if people have served in the armed forces. In fact,
Okay.
Veteran status is that's a protected class. And so you'd want to give, serious consideration to people who have served in the armed forces, who are veterans.
Right.
So it wouldn't be for the purpose of discrimination, it would be for the purpose of giving, further consideration.
Right, further consideration or even benefits, like the leave benefits that are,
Yeah. But I mean, I don't think it's not a mandatory question on the application.
Yeah.
We certainly don't have to ask which branch. I pulled that off of another one.
So
Yeah.
then we could maybe add that it wasn't mandated. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes,
this is
elective,
optional.
optional, yes,
optional.
optional.
Okay,
And then the date of services,
We don't even have to do that.
I didn't.
There's going to be, when it comes to benefits, if an offer is made to the employee, that's when we're gonna be collecting this information. So we really
Right.
don't have to have that here. We can,
Okay.
we can
Because I
scratch
mean, the only
that.
time that it would even matter to us, I feel, it would be is if they were in the guards, we may have to, allow them to be out certain times when they go in for their training. But other than that, I don't, you know what I
Right.
mean, as far as for us to, and normally that would be something you would usually discuss at,
Right,
pre-hire.
pre-hire, yeah.
Yep.
And I can, it's long. It's long, and I can certainly pare down the prior
Well, if it's
employments.
two-sided, then, it's only 2 pages.
I know, but I can certainly pare down the employment history section. There's no reason that has to be kind of the equivalent of a full page.
Could we
So-
add to, do you possess a valid driver's license? If it's required, because like, from me.
If position, yeah, if required by position, yes. Answer, if required by position. Or if position requires it, whatever.
And then underneath the employment history,
Mm-hmm.
the second bullet down, it says, a resume may be attached, but do not refer to the resume when completing any section of this application.
So, you know how some people, when they fill out an application, because they've submitted a resume, on their application, they put see resume,
resume.
see resume, see
Yeah.
resume. So this is requiring them to complete the
Right, and
application.
this is, I believe, the legal documentation for a person's file is here.
Not
Is it-
necessarily the
Not
resume.
necessarily the resume.
No.
And can we
And
ask
they're
them?
signing certifying that the information is accurate.
Okay.
Right.
I didn't think we could put down, ask them what they make.
Providing salary information for prior positions is optional. We can scratch it all together.
I mean,
It's
I
not.
I didn't know, for some reason I was thinking that like when we do interviews and stuff, you're not supposed to ask them that type of a question.
Well, it's optional, and we can scratch it altogether.
It's good to have some idea, though, I have to say.
And I mean, we could.
Oh, it'd be wonderful to know that, but I just didn't know if we could
Right.
actually legally ask for it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. No,
I
you're
think
right.
that we
Jill.
can, and I can double check that.
Yeah.
But I believe, I mean, it's not mandatory.
Right.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
optional. Did I have I know that they.
Oh, can you ask people about, have they ever been dismissed or ask if they resigned from a position? Is that something you can actually?
Yeah.
Okay.
Education.
Yeah. One, two, three, 4 previous jobs. Can we just pare that down to 2 or 3?
You could pare it down to.
Lately-
3.
Lately,
You-
it's
we
like
could-
6 or 7.
I know, but if they want to add it on, that's
Then they can add it.
then they
Right.
can add it on.
Right.
Okay.
But it's a little
It's
daunting
long.
when you look and it says, you know, I want to know the past 4 people you've worked for.
Employee
Yeah.
name. Okay, so that we can scratch the last. We could scratch one of these. Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
I'm just trying to make it look like
Yeah,
they
not
aren't going to
too-
look at it and run because
Nice job, though. Really nice.
Well, we could streamline the employment history too. I know it's really the last page. Take time to read it if you want, but it's
Right.
like
It's
I
like
tried to
everything
cover
that
it.
What's
you
my
have
thing?
to.
I don't know. I took.
I looked at that and went, wow. Why would you even put that in there?
You know what? We don't have to do that. We can scratch that as well. Because we don't do lie detector
Because
tests.
if we didn't have to
However.
question that, then we wouldn't want to hire that person.
All right, so where I really made some, you know who I took this from? I actually took this as a template from Southborough. Vanessa
Yeah.
Hale is
Yeah.
one of the, you probably see her
Great.
name a lot.
Great.
Yeah, so, but what I did on that long paragraph here was I put all of our usual, along that one right there, I put all of our usual pre-hire requirements.
Yep.
The Corey, possible credit report, possible background check, and I was trying to keep in mind police officers and
Yep.
firefighter EMTs.
Yep.
Okay. I further understand that my offer of employment will be as an employee at will, and that no employment contract rights have been created.
Mhm.
This statement does not necessarily apply to those employees who, if hired, will be members of a collective bargaining agreement.
Yeah, and you know,
Yeah, no, that's good.
I think that's important.
That is, yeah.
This is actually the, I also understand and agree that my employment may be terminated at
At
any
any
time
time.
with or without cause.
That's right.
subject to the collective bargaining agreement.
Yeah.
I wondered if I should add or individual employment contract, because
Yeah.
we have a couple of employees.
Yeah.
But at will, it
Yeah.
can be terminated without cause.
Yeah,
You're just no longer needed.
yeah.
Jude's going, please,
Okay.
please.
All right then.
Get her. I think this is good.
Take more time to look it over. If you really take time to look it over further, if you
Yeah.
like.
Okay,
This was a first pass at it, so.
yeah,
No, the thing about the whole, like, social security number and stuff is just, like,
Yeah, that's too much. That's.
Mm-hmm.
and it probably hasn't been updated since I started here 30 years ago. I think it's the exact same.
It's
one.
probably the same one you did.
I think it was.
Wow.
the second thing was the PAF.
Yeah. So this is something that Dennis and June and I met to go over a while
Great.
ago. You know, overall, the personnel action form we have has worked
Yeah,
fairly well, but it is very complex. You know, it's got a lot of stuff. So June liked the way she had a couple of other samples, and she liked the format. Dennis needed something to clarify start date, and so we put this draft together.
And
yeah,
I think we finally came to the rationale that the start date is the date that you start. So the first day that you start collecting a paycheck is your start date.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
So that's why we've, you know, the current one, we have data hire and then we have start date. This one just makes it a single effective date,
Yeah.
start date.
yep. Name, position, employee number, effective date / start date, good, okay. Department head.
We're really pared down as far as like the reasoning for
Yeah.
the action. Or,
Yep,
Yeah.
That should be separate. If there's a reason or something in their file that there's an issue or,
It's almost, I think we need to actually start writing down whatever it is, because it's really not that complicated. You know,
Right.
most of the things are not.
yeah, because
really
most
that
of the
complicated.
other things are gonna be things like status change,
Yeah.
Yes.
you know, somebody
Yeah,
who,
or a step increase
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
Yeah.
you know, like a union contract step or whatever it is, anniversary.
Mhm.
okay. One of the things, I don't know, you may want to consider, this looks really good, but do you get a lot of status changes or like a from to a to? Like,
Most of it's union.
okay, all right, so you really wouldn't need like a from this to this? Like, you don't have too many like going from 40 hours to 0 hours or from this to, so that would be under other, right?
No, yeah.
And they would note here, check appropriate box and describe below. So they'd describe that, right?
We would hope that they could, yeah,
Yeah.
could do that.
Or a
'cause-
status change, like, for instance, Maureen, the new person in the assessor's office, I
Yeah.
introduced myself.
She's great.
Tonight, she's very nice. And so the last PAF we had, so
Yeah.
she was hired as 20-something, 25 hours in the assessor's
Yeah.
office. So the status change would have been, she was also additional hours for the community preservation assistant was added to her job. So that's what I'm saying.
No, it's
Oh.
two separate jobs.
Oh,
Paid at the same rate, but two separate
It-
jobs.
Yeah, but
Right.
it's still two positions as far as it hasn't been combined with the assessor's job.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so she's just doing both jobs.
Right,
So she
Right.
would actually have to have a new one because it
should
would.
have two PAFs.
But there would also be a note, but it would be more on our end, not necessarily on the department heads.
yeah,
And that now that means that instead of her being 25 hours, now she's gonna be 30 hours.
Right.
Or 31 hours.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is that
Right.
it's gonna be. But that would be more of an internal
mm-hmm,
type
mm-hmm,
notice, because now it would mean a little bit different for retirement
Okay.
purposes.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
But with her, it's two separate jobs, so we would still need, because, I mean, technically,
okay.
they may not know about each other.
All right,
I mean, they would here as far as like in the HR or the
Okay.
TA, but,
all right.
yeah. But I mean, we've had a few, like, we've had people come in for part-time, like with the academy people, the police officers that are coming in for the academy. They may be part-time at this point, or they may come in at full-time, and then at a certain date, then You know what I mean? So there'll be some status, not very many.
Yeah.
It's usually whether somebody gets a certificate and now they get a stipend, yearly stipend or something like
Okay.
that, so.
All right, good. June, is this gonna work for you, for your
I think so.
team?
The only thing is that sometimes I have a little, as accountant, I'm talking as accountant now, it's hard for me because usually I like to be at the end. Because when I finally get
Oh.
it, that means people actually, I can pay them. Because if everybody else hasn't signed off on it, then that means something's missing. So
Okay.
technically, I can't really put them through on the payroll.
We can
Okay.
reverse that.
Yeah,
And what
okay.
about, now, so this form also does not include accounts paid from, you know, the account name and account numbers to be paid from. Is that gonna cause a problem?
For me, it doesn't.
Okay.
And a lot of the newer people who are coming in, they have no idea what their phone numbers are anyway. So.
Yeah, do you, a
I mean, as long as
department
I've got
number?
as long as I've got a department, I know we can
Okay.
work out the rest of it. The only other issue I think we're gonna actually, in the back end of this, is try to work with a little bit better of a checklist.
Yeah.
So everybody kind of knows what their role is when it's signed. And I think that's just more of, and the only reason why I know this is more of an issue is being interim town administrator. Signing off on it, to me, for the town administrator, would have been that everything has been taken care of. So
Okay.
we've advertised, job description is good.
Correct.
Hours are good, everything's
Mhm.
been pre-approved.
Yep,
And for Dennis, it would be pretty much he's signing off on it because he has all the payroll information that's needed.
okay.
So do you want to put, I think there's a notation on the current PAF, next to town administrator, all pre-employment requirements.
I was gonna
are there,
say,
so-
yeah, the only problem is that what we were finding is that, like certain, like treasurer does the quarry check.
Mhm.
Has the physical been done? Cause some of them, the PAFs already come through, but all of a sudden I found out after the fact that no physical was done. So it's that type of thing, so I don't know if we wanna maybe add little check boxes
Who tracks
underneath
the
departments.
department head would track the physical, correct? They should.
Well, Mary confirms that typically Mary confirms that a physical has been done, or if it's public safety, the chiefs
Yeah.
confirm that
Yeah.
a physical
Yeah.
has been done.
So we
before
may
sign
just
off.
have to maybe make, whether it be a checkoff box, maybe add them that
Okay.
says quarry, that it says, you know,
Quarry.
because you can't attach that the quarry, you know, to it. You can't
Right,
attach
no,
some
it
of the
has to be in a
paperwork.
separate
And it
file.
shouldn't necessarily go everywhere, because like for me as accountant, I don't want all the personnel information. I just want this to say, yes, this is your authorization to pay them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just want to know that it was done.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's all you need to know.
Exactly, because that's not my department. So, but yeah, so I'm just thinking maybe add those type of little things like the
And the,
quarry, the
yeah, and the only other thing is,
driving history was another one.
personnel record or file, or file has been set up.
Yeah, that's a very good one, because that's
Because where
where we
does
would.
all this stuff go after?
Yep, personnel file, offer letter signed. That's going to be one of the first things that goes into it, so. Okay. Personnel file, personnel.
It's almost like in the personnel
Personnel
file, we
file
probably
or-
should have
or
like
folder.
a form that goes in that
Yeah,
file. You know how
personnel.
you can buy them already made, the personnel record file, where it
Yeah.
actually has all that information you can write on the actual folder.
Mm-hmm,
Okay, so these are all check boxes. So we've got Corey, pre-employment physical, driving history, offer letter signed, personnel folder established or created or something. Okay. The only other thing that I just saw here is, so when we process the personnel action form, we like to have all attached documentation. So if someone has resigned, we want their resignation letter attached to the
Yeah.
person. So at the bottom of this, I did a little thing for new hires, but I didn't do anything
Oh,
explaining what
termination.
other, termination, we want a resignation letter or other documentation.
Exit interview too.
Okay, yeah.
And is that where we put down that all town
Return of town
is-
property.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Return of town property, yep. That's a good one. Okay. Okay.
Now, I don't know if this is where this would be appropriate, but I have a little sticky here somewhere. That, can we somewhere add something about training licenses?
On the
Not-
personnel action form?
Not everybody is signing off on them. In the bylaws, we had, in the old ones, I don't know if I really found it in here, as far as like, at one point we had it so that the town would reimburse for classes up to $500.
Oh, yeah.
But we don't have anything really in here, I don't know, I haven't found it yet, about if you pay for me to go to school to be certified as a town accountant, I get certified today and next month I leave. So what would be our policy, or is that just something that we should just eat? Because if it's not part of the original agreement, we don't have anything to fall back on, I don't think, to come back and say, you owe us money.
I thought we were gonna put that in the policies and procedures.
So it would have, I think would have to be put in the policies and procedures. We've been doing this
It's-
individually.
And it would be so much easier to have it here versus making sure we put it in a higher letter, because we may not document it for everybody, because that's one of the
Yeah.
situations we
Mhm.
just came into where we paid for a license
Right.
and then they all of a sudden leave in 3 months. Well,
Right.
we already paid and their license is good and they can use it elsewhere. but-
Right.
So, I mean, I don't
Yeah, I thought we
know if
were,
there's a dollar limit though that we wanna look at,
I
or
thought
is
we
it
were
just
putting
across the board?
What do we do for police? We do, is it 3 or 5?
I think it was 5.
3 or 5, and I think we did.
I think it's like $500 and it's for 3 years?
It's a 20% decline
I think so.
each year.
But like some of the licenses are only good for a year, or. Cause I mean, we have to make sure whatever we do it across the
What
board.
you
Yeah.
could say as a simple policy is you could say, you know, if the town pays for special training, I mean, not necessarily professional development, you're not always gonna get all that money back. But if the
Right,
town
right.
pays for special training for you within the first year of employment, which has been the case, I think, in most cases here with these individual agreements, if the employee leaves within the following, well, within 12 months after receiving certification
Yeah.
or being trained,
Yeah.
he or she shall pay the town back the entire cost
Right.
of the training, or
And
something like that.
Yeah, and sometimes what we would do is maybe a prorated amount. So if they stay if they receive the money in July and they stayed through December, it would be a prorated amount. So instead of having to pay the full amount back, they'd pay,
Whatever, half or,
yes,
yeah.
yes, yeah, because I did it monthly.
Okay, yeah. That would work.
Is there something in the current,
That's what I was just
Thing on
trying to see if I
education
could
and
find,
training?
Cause I thought there was something in there,
That
but
requires payback.
I think it was like.
training and education, page 17?
The town may require the employee to sign an agreement to remain with the town for a period up to 2 years upon reimbursement. Or else be willing to reimburse the town for the funds.
But again, that says, this one here is actually limiting it to $500.
Yeah. But this is.
But then it would be up to the department head then to make sure that they write up something with them.
What page are you on, Margaret?
17.
the old
Is
one.
This is the old.
Yeah.
Does this intend to be, is this intended to be for an accredited college course?
I think this was more for police, because they were the only ones at the time that got paid for any type of classes. When this was done.
Because I'm not sure if you want, yeah. It says course, and be careful with that in case.
And that's,
Mhm.
and-
Because
but I
we're
mean,
talking
that's the whole
licenses.
thing, is that, I mean, it's like training or education.
Right.
Like, for you to keep up your license, you have to
A
be
certificate,
certified.
it can be a
It
certificate
can
program.
be any, but I mean, do we wanna do that if it's only $100? Do we wanna, is there a limit for that? Because then it would be up to the department head to make sure that they're running some sort of a tally.
Well, even
of
if it's
training
100,
courses.
even if it is $100,
120, make it easy.
make it easy. It's 120, and they stay.
Sorry.
$10 a
it's
month.
late.
Yeah, they stay 8 months.
But are we gonna, was my big thing. though,
It's
is there
picky.
something like
It sounds
that?
picky and a
Because then
little,
we would have to calculate it and bill it out and then try to collect it is the big thing.
but unfortunately, if you make the policy,
That's, yeah.
once the policy's
So-
made, it should be the same for everybody. So it's anything over $120.
I think we'll have to look at, I mean, this,
I mean, I don't know if
this
there's
is working.
anything in the new policies.
I don't-
didn't
well, that's
see
what
I don't
it.
believe,
was-
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I was just looking at that and I'm like,
But I mean, I don't know if it's one of those where, because technically you should get it pre-approved anyway by your department head before you actually enroll in a course. Anyway, but,
I've looked at these a lot and I don't remember seeing anything here. Nothing. Page 26, it would be under employee benefits, I think, right? Page 26. Travel.
yeah, education and training, that's very strange.
Nope.
so I mean,
I
it's
should be
just
added
a
to
thought
employee
maybe-
benefits, I think.
Yes.
when
Maybe
you-
think about it, just to,
Yep,
All right, so-
unless it's something special that we do if we're actually, you know, it's a matter of employment status, that we have them write up something and sign it.
Or this is something they get when they sign
Because
up
that
for the
would be-
class.
like the mandatory training in education that we require our employees to go through every year, is there a section for that? Didn't we look at that? In terms of,
I didn't see anything.
Not unless it's in the front.
I only saw, town requires employees to undergo training on compliance with the town's records.
what page is that, Sue?
Every one of us has a different page.
Well, yeah, it's always
What
within
about
a
what
couple.
pages?
Yeah, about what pages.
I think it's 11. Right above employment definitions,
Okay.
but that's all I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't, I'm surprised because I've got so many versions of this that I'm.
And they're all different pages.
Yeah, I know that,
I mean, maybe it's not a big deal, but, you know, I mean, it's one thing, because I think one night
no, I
was just
think it's,
recently looking at it's gonna be a $45 bill to somebody, because we had just,
Is it one of those things that when they sign up for the course and we say that we're gonna pay it, that they get a form that says,
but again, that's just one more thing.
I
I was
know.
trying to figure
I-
out how can we make it as simple as possible.
simple.
Because if it's not made aware to them, you know, and all of a sudden they receive a bill in the mail, then,
well, we're gonna have to, it's gonna have to be reiterated by
right.
the department head at all times. I mean, that's just, but that's all I can see.
or is that just gonna be classified as the cost of doing business? I mean, I don't know how it works in the outside.
No, I think that there should be some sort of at least a baseline standard. I don't know that, you know, different trainings cost different amounts of money
Right.
too.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I
you-
mean, sometimes it's a group
Also,
training.
we want to include that, and we also want to include that if the town has a requirement for training, that the employee will be required to attend it, you know, like or even just
Yeah.
the reading the sexual harassment policy, everybody's required to, that's really an annual thing, an annual training, if you will,
should be
for that, yeah.
Even technology is
Right.
supposed to be done every year or
Yeah.
something like that too.
And there's other ones such as, do you guys have like trainings like on fire procedures and fire? No?
We have nothing like that. I was hoping that the police department could give staff here Alice training, but we haven't had that.
We've had it in accounting.
Or a
school.
lockdown?
Good for you!
We did, yep, they had a
Yeah.
cop come in and teach.
We
them,
have
which-
active shooter
Mhm.
training and everything. Our place is much larger, but,
No, we did it in accounting class at our
Did you?
yearly
That's good.
thing. They actually had it.
active shooter,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
great. So this is,
Well,
this is the old.
I will look
Good.
at some other municipal,
Because I'm just thinking if
Policies
it's
and
in the
see.
policies, then we can say, well, you were hired, you were supposed to
There it
accomplish
is.
this, and it's right here.
yeah.
And you do want it to be the same for everybody. I
So-
want to be really careful that we don't have it for some and not for
Right.
others.
So I think if we have, wait a minute, it was page 7 you said. It's here, right above what? It was right above, what's page 11?
Page 11.
11,
Yeah.
okay. Maybe if we add additional information under this section here. Okay.
So we can pull some of it from our former policy
Mhm.
and,
Yeah, the formal one though, I don't really think is really current-ish either.
Not really, but I mean, we could at least add something to say the town, in addition to whatever the baseline policy will be, we could have a disclaimer that the town may require the employee to sign an additional agreement
Right.
for certain trainings or something
Right.
like that.
That's a
So we
good
could
way to
add
say it.
something like-
May ask. So if it is that $120 course, we don't have them sign the agreement.
Again, we gotta do it for everybody.
I know.
so education and training, licensing and certifications, that should be,
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's one thing if it's, the town requires you to take this course
Right.
to be here.
yep,
But if it's, I'm just thinking if it's something that you can use outside to make money after you leave here, then it could also be a,
yep,
Mhm.
yep,
you know, versus it's, you know, you have to take a CPR course
Yeah.
because you're an EMT. Well, that's just part of,
right.
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know, but having the EMT certification and we're paying you to do that, then that's a little bit different to
Yeah.
sign that,
It
you know,
pretty
2
much
years
is,
or whatever.
it pretty much is specific to licenses and certifications. When you think about all the trainings that are out there,
Mhm.
it
Mhm.
probably is something that
Mhm.
we'd want to identify
Yeah.
in there for licenses.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, well, I'll look at other examples and see what we
I'll
can.
think a little more about it too, to
Yes.
see what other areas, but I don't wanna make it to be a ton of paperwork involved where, I'm not even saying just our office, but I'm thinking the department heads.
The department
too.
heads to do it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'll have to look and see, cause I don't
That's a good
think in the
point,
union contracts, I don't know if it's in there, so they're the biggest, would be where the biggest problems would be, but.
That,
So-
and don't forget the new CDL training. Things
I
like
know
that. Don't forget that one. I mean, the unions, yes, but CDL
Yeah.
training now.
It's gonna be a lot of money and a lot of time.
License, cause that was a certification that was just done and
Yeah,
then somebody
those-
leaves, it's,
Yep, those are gonna
Mhm.
be a lot more expensive, so just keep that group in mind too.
Is there something new with the CDL?
Yeah, they have to actually go to semi-school and.
Started in February.
Yeah, they have
Really?
to do the
yeah,
real,
Tommy
It's a
was saying
federal-
something about it,
Federal
wasn't he, about-
requirement.
yeah, they have to do the whole thing now.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
wow.
I'm not gonna go.
And it's hard enough to find employees, and now,
Right,
you know, the
right.
federal
Well-
government, the US Department of Transportation is making it that, you know, is making
Mhm.
it that much more
Right.
challenging to.
So the other part on the policies that we need to also take a look at, Margaret, you had opened up to us that
Yeah.
on the leave benefits section, under sick leave, there's no allowance
Right.
for illness of an immediate family member.
Right, right, so
And
we
you were-
had talked last
Yeah.
time about where employees are essentially getting 15 days accrued of sick leave each
Mhm.
year under the new policies, to allow 5 of those days for leave for a serious illness or illness of an immediate family member.
5 days?
5 of those days could be used. That's what I just thought that was reasonable.
So they get 15 leave days a year?
15 sick days a year under the
Sick
new
days,
policies. It's accrued,
Wow.
it's accrued monthly?
We get none. We get
Weekly.
0. We get 0 sick
What,
days.
sick?
Yeah,
Yeah, but you have paid time off.
right,
Yours is all lumped.
yeah, yeah.
How much paid time off do you get a year?
Well, I've got, for me, a person walking in the door, they get 3 weeks. And that includes everything, vacation, they get,
So technically, then they get, say, 2 weeks vacation
Yeah.
and a week
that
of
could
sick.
be, yeah.
If
that-
you look at it that
Right,
way, it's pretty
right,
much the.
Right.
Can I be the bad person on this one? Is that I think days off for family members can really turn into a problem. You know, because it can be, my father's sick, my daughter's sick, my husband, so
Does it have to be immediate family?
that's what can you get to the point where it's
It should be immediate family.
Immediate?
I would say that because you're using sick pay, you would be able to ask for a doctor's note.
there,
At
I
some
just
point.
feel like this could be abused. And I don't mean to be negative.
No,
And
that's- I was shocked that you could use your own sick time, because I had never heard of that before.
Well,
But a
in the
lot of the
policy, we
towns do that,
have-
yeah.
Right, we do have policies in here now that, like the state, you have to have, but it's unpaid. So I mean, it's one of those where we could do it, but have it be unpaid, but then if you have time available, you could use your vacation time, or you could use,
So the towns are not, if they participate in the Massachusetts paid leave, their employees would get paid leave for caring for us, and a seriously ill immediate family member. They would get paid for up to 12 weeks, I believe it is.
is it paid or?
Yeah, it's paid.
Because I thought whatever
It can.
it was, we actually offered a better plan than the state did. I thought, at one
Are you
point.
talking FMLA?
No,
Okay.
no,
Because
mass paid.
Oh, the paid, oh, yes.
Mass
yeah,
paid
we don't-
family leave.
I don't know
Yeah.
of another town or city that
Yeah,
has even
there
adopted.
isn't.
Right, that's what you had said before,
Yeah.
so that's why we we
But-
stuck with everything.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying. I think it needs to say that if a person is using their sick time that they accumulated, that the town's paying for, that it has to be an immediate family member, which would be this mother, father, spouse, who's considered an immediate
But if
family
you're,
member.
but if you're saying you can only use 5 days, is that what you said? Then there wouldn't be an
Well, that's what I was
accumulation of-
suggesting. You could use 5 of the existing sick leave days for
Right.
an
Right,
illness of an
but
immediate.
so that wouldn't be the
$5,
accumulated
5 days
time
per year.
Per year.
Yeah,
Immediate family.
that would be under the bereavement piece, I think.
Oh, yes.
And I think we did that.
Finding bereavement. Here we go. I don't know.
Oh, you know what I was thinking is a small necessity leave. But that's only 24 hours.
Okay, family member. Defined as spouse, significant other, life partner, father, stepfather, mother, stepmother, child, oh, this is for bereavement. This is the only place it's defined so far in here, right?
Yep, I think
Yeah,
so.
we didn't have sister and
I-
brother-in-law
I
in
don't-
there either.
Yeah, I don't know that, I don't know that it should extend beyond the employee's immediate household,
Right.
honestly.
Yeah, I,
do.
yep.
I'm not trying to be negative
You know, I
here.
Right,
remember,
no,
well, so I
no.
remember
No,
when I
right.
was a young working mom,
Right,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and my kids, you
Yeah,
know, you
right.
get sick. My husband and I used to take
Right,
turns
right.
at home with the
Right.
kids sick.
And that should absolutely be, it should be your children, your
Immediate,
spouse,
yeah.
or your parents. It's almost the same thing that FMLA covers under seriously ill family member. They cover spouse, they cover children, they cover mother. The only thing that they didn't cover, which I think they the Massachusetts law does cover was a mother or father-in-law.
Mhm.
It doesn't,
Yes,
the
it does,
state does.
the state covers it, but the federal government does not include in-laws. But I agree, I think it's gonna be a member of the immediate family.
I just think it can get,
Living in the families, yeah.
But even if the
Okay.
parent
Nuclear
isn't, sometimes the parent's not, and that's the whole reason why they need to take the time off, is because the parent's not living with them and they have to go stay with them.
Mhm.
As you well,
I spent, yeah.
Yeah.
My husband spends a week down the Cape right now.
Mhm.
But, you know, is this some, like,
Well, that's, and we've used FMLA for that type of situation.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Yeah.
which, I don't know if we included here under FMLA, that we kept in the 50%. We make people using FMLA for an immediate, for a family member.
yeah,
Use 50% of their accrued vacation first, so.
yeah,
right, I just,
yeah.
I'm not sure, like, you know, June was saying, do they have to tell us that this is who's sick?
So,
But then again, if it's your child, you know, they stay
Well,
home.
I would say it would probably be just like, what do we have it now for individuals if they're sick after, what is it, 5 days or 2 weeks?
Well, that is their whole time, is the 5 days and then there, so
You know,
I guess we just hope everybody's honest.
so we didn't have family sick in the last policy either. Or did we?
I thought we did anyway.
That's FMLA.
Long term.
Okay, so what happens if they use more than 5 days and then they come in and go, June, now my uncle's sick and I've got to go, you know, or my daughter's sick now and they've already used their 5 days.
5 days for the year.
So, okay, but if they've already used their 5 days,
They could use sick time, I mean, they could use vacation time.
Right,
okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
at least we have,
Yeah.
so now you have to use your vacation. Or do we need, does it have to be 5? Can it be 3? I'm like, I'm sorry.
I have to say, I would have loved to have been able to take time off when my husband was
Right, I
like
know.
really like,
And you should have,
And
well,
I-
you
Right.
couldn't in your
Person,
position
but I
at that time.
right.
yeah. But it would be nice to be able to do that without really,
But I think that's a good percentage, 5 days per year from the 15. I think that's fair in terms of,
I would break, you might even want to break it down to hours, since sick time accrues by hours each month. So you might want to even specify a certain number of hours. I don't know.
No, the 5 other days. Let's not,
yeah. So I think we should outline also what the immediate family member should be. It should be spouse, children, parents. Right?
yep,
Domestic partner,
Yep.
living in the employee's household.
Yep.
Residing in the employee's household.
because it can, oh, and foster children.
Yep.
Yep.
I knew there was one kicking around in my head.
Spouse, children, parents. Domestic partner living in household, foster children, foster or stepchildren living in household right?
Yep. That's,
Do you think that, for this particular policy, bereavement's a little bit different?
It is.
So that's okay, because that includes grandparent, it includes, you know, all these other people.
Yeah.
But I don't think that a
don't
person
think-
needs to be taking a leave for a grandparent. I mean, getting paid sick time for taking care of a grandparent.
Yeah, the old policy, we didn't even say how long they needed before they had to get a doctor's note for long term.
I think that's good.
Where you're back in there, are you like,
Oh, bereavement?
yeah, no, yeah, for bereavement,
Yeah.
we didn't have,
Cousin?
sister brother-in-law for one day.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was something that was missing in there.
Okay. Okay. Are you okay with adding sister or brother-in-law
Yeah.
for one day?
Yeah,
We had daughter-in-law, son-in-law, but
Okay, so a
Right.
maximum of one funeral day leave shall be granted to attend the funeral of the employee's aunt,
Mhm.
uncle, niece, nephew, cousin, sister-in-law, or brother-in-law. Okay.
Have we ever had to have people bring in a obituary?
there is a thing.
My
in-
brother had to, because we had like 4 deaths.
We used to.
We had 4 deaths in like 2 months in our family. It was bad. In the
I
prison.
mean, could we just add in there that?
The prison didn't believe it.
Documentation may be,
Yeah,
requested.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
The prison just didn't believe my brother. He's like, I've got another funeral. And they're saying, you can't. Well, it was his father-in-law,
Right.
our grandmother, both of my parents, all within the same
yeah.
amount of time in there.
Okay, so you want, under the one day,
That's
documentation may be requested.
just, I can't imagine anybody making that stuff up. I
Nope.
mean,
I can't either, but you never know.
but they didn't believe my brother.
Okay.
So oh, I thought this was this was the final, approved by Personnel
foresee any
Committee and
problem
Select
on
Board.
family
We did add
sick?
cousin.
Charging days.
The only thing is, which one is that? I'm sorry. Sick leave?
This is sick leave, so it doesn't really reference days,
Um,
except for certification of illness.
The only question, or, I think we're just gonna have to ride with it and see as it comes about.
Okay.
Because, like, how often would you have to get recertification?
Right.
How long would the, because it, even under family medical leave.
There's going to be a lot of this that we just have to.
So
And
we
I would
could
like to
say-
think the most of it could be discretionary as far as a situation, but we also want it to be able to be enforced without it becoming an issue.
Right.
Would you say, would it make any sense to say maximum 5 days prorated according to the number of hours work per full-time week? I'm just, I get really
Right.
nervous when we
Just
talk
like-
days now.
I know, I know.
I get
Yeah.
really nervous when we talk days.
Yeah, we can't talk days. Yeah, you have to make sure you do it prorated.
Okay. Prorated according to the employee's regular weekly schedule or
Yeah.
something like that. So,
Perfect.
Yeah.
having fun yet, Roger?
Oh, yeah.
Because it does say certification of illness, and then after a certain period, a department head or supervisor may request a physician's
Right.
statement. Yep. So that's in there. That's good.
And I just want to make sure too that they get heard.
So if you're only allowed to do 5,
But keep in mind, you could do 5, but then you could also use FMLA where vacation would
Okay.
be charged. So if that would be an option for an employee who has a seriously ill,
What if-
Family
I was
member.
gonna say, what if it crosses fiscal years?
well, FMLA counts months, not fiscal years. So it
Rolling
depends.
year,
Yeah, it would be
rolling.
rolling 12.
Yeah, but it does because we require them to use 50% of their vacation.
Accrued vacation.
So do I dare ask how the new time in accruals
It has
and,
not yet been implemented in the payroll service.
oh, it hasn't?
Not on stubs.
I only have so many hours in the day.
Oh, right, okay, so you're working on all that?
Well, Dennis has been trying to work on it.
Yeah, actually, it's been a little bit difficult to get the information from the department heads, so we haven't had time to go back and read
Okay.
things.
All right,
September 30th, she can start.
okay. And that's something that we might, we could help with, June, if need be, down the road
Careful
here.
what you offer.
Oh.
She doesn't work Mondays.
I'll tell you, the people at Harper's that I've been on meetings with Dennis, have the patience of saints.
Okay,
They do.
Yeah.
They do. They're really
Mhm.
trying to
Good.
break it down.
mm-hmm, good, all right, all right.
Not me. I volunteer for a lot of things, but I won't volunteer for that. To put information in things.
I
no
know
way.
we're getting prepared for a new HRIS system, and it's like, oh my word.
So yeah, so June's got a valid point here. So in the adopted appendix, FMLA appendix, the town requires employees to take 50% of any accrued vacation leave at the beginning of family leave granted pursuant to the act. So if they start family sick leave at the beginning of the fiscal year, they've only accrued, starting next year, they've only accrued a tiny little bit. So 50% of that is not much.
Right,
If someone takes FMLA late in the year and they
Yeah.
haven't taken a lot of vacation, they're gonna be hit with 50% of their vacation going to FMLA.
But they're not gonna have a lot of sick time either available either to use, so
That's true.
it doesn't really matter at that point, I guess.
yeah,
It's just that, like, starting now, where we are in this 1 year,
Yeah, transition, yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Damn, we are doing good.
The other couple of things I sent you. Okay, these are easy.
These are
I think
easy.
these are easy. I
Okay.
think these are easy. So
All
what I
right.
did was I did updates to fraud, and what I did in the appendix for fraud was I used the recent fraud prevention policy that was adopted by the board. I actually included that here. It was adopted by
Okay.
the board
Yeah.
2021,
all right,
updated.
It's in the appendix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2021, September 2021. So I replaced what Sandy had in there with the fraud protection policy that the board had adopted. And then whistleblower protection,
Could I bounce back to G? Where it
Which
says
one?
Open meeting law.
yes.
Should we be like putting in a thing there that sends them to a website or something, because it doesn't really tell them what it means?
Yes, and I
I
had,
thought-
I noted that here, but I.
Okay, I just want to make
Didn't-
sure that we were gonna do that,
Ooh,
that's all.
I mean, we could mark it up now. What page was that? 39 roughly.
43. Give or take a few.
39. I know, everybody.
There are a lot of, okay, yeah.
Saying all three of us have
39,
different
39,
pages.
I'm with you. All right, so, we could,
Because that's becoming a new issue, I'm gonna have to actually request to see if Mary could send out the open meeting law or the link, because we have to refresh everybody's.
Does,
so there's another annual,
I'm almost thinking that, yeah, we're gonna have to start, I think, some sort of a checklist.
It
at
is,
the
so
beginning of the year or something.
we could do something here like we did with,
Yep.
with those other appendices that were already voted, for
Yeah,
for
but I was
furthering-
thinking if anything changes, if we can just refer it to a website, it's easier than us having to change
Okay.
the file. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I
It's
will
like a-
put, like we did with
Mhm.
those,
Also-
like we did with those others, I will,
Yeah,
what appendices did we vote, that were already voted? It was
I thought it had something to do with either
F.
the,
F, G, F. For additional information,
there you go.
go to,
Yep. Or even if it's to the town's website, if we have another section that, I don't know, but just so that they know.
go to, and we'll do www. We'll do exactly what we did with those appendices to start, anyway.
but the open meeting, I mean,
Because that came up again at the meeting. So
really,
it's-
when
but-
KP Law came and did that discussion on open meeting, that was
It was-
so
That was good.
definite.
Yep.
It was,
Yeah.
But it
but it was
was
so sparsely
Poorly
attended.
attended,
Yeah.
that I think it should almost be a,
See, it would be really nice if we could get one so that we can do like a YouTube video and it can be linked to our website that,
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to remember if
or
that,
it's sent to people
was that
to
taped?
see.
I think
Did,
it
was cable in there that night when Janelle was there? I thought they might have been. Do you
Oh,
remember?
now that you just said that.
Who
we
was
can
the
go back,
lady
but
But I
that
can't
did it
remember if she
before
was
that?
uncomfortable with it being recorded because we were paying her to do it.
Oh, I don't know, but we can go back
Because
and
then it would
check.
become free. But we'd have to check and see.
Yeah, let's look and see,
I
because if
think-
that is available
department head should at least be required to do that, because
as part of training.
like you said,
Onboarding.
it's come up now, there's been,
And it
There's
just
been
sometimes
several.
people forget.
or they
not-
don't know.
Oh,
or they
believe me.
just- It's just,
Yeah.
you know, you're not even thinking about it.
Well, June, even in one of these emails,
Yeah.
you
Was
you
that
said.
okay? We can't discuss it because unfortunately you have a small group now. So
Right.
It's just
like
the two
all
of
you have
us.
to do is
Right, I know,
reply
and we
Yeah.
have to be careful
And
and
it's- And
whenever.
it's not an intentional thing.
Right.
Most of the time, it's not. It's just.
Yep, yep. And, oh, it was when the chief sent his job descriptions.
Yes.
And you said, well, we
Okay.
really can't discuss it because of open meeting law.
Right, no, we can read it,
Right, but don't,
don't talk about
because
it.
as soon as you have two and then.
Going back and forth, yeah.
That's
yeah.
right, deliberation. So I didn't do anything to J on this page under whistleblower protection. Our fraud prevention policy does mention whistleblower protection, but there's an entire appendix here, Appendix J,
Okay,
which I did,
Right, and
I only,
that's, right,
all I did with that appendix was assure that it was consistent with the little portion of the fraud prevention policy that the board had adopted.
right, and this is also state,
Oh,
whistleblower
yes,
protection
it's-
is all state regulated.
That's correct. So I
Okay.
updated that in Appendix J. And then,
Underneath in the appendix,
yeah,
C.
on Appendix C?
no, for the whistleblower,
Okay.
appendix J under C.
C. Yeah,
I didn't know if we needed to say something about that it could be kept confidential. At that point, I forget how, when I was reading it, I wasn't sure if there was a way where,
I thought,
for investigating.
so what we could do is we could add the word confidentially right before raise on the second line. Facts demonstrating improper governmental actions may, if appropriate, confidentially raise the issue first with their department head, the town administrator.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that they're not like,
Absolutely.
and E, it looked like there was like, it says the employee is not required to comply
Yeah.
with the above if he or she does 1, 2, or 3. But is there an instead? Because I'm just thinking that, like, I could think that you are aware of something.
The instead would be following the policy?
An employee is not required to comply with the above procedures, which is all the whole notify,
Yeah.
if they're reasonably certain that it's already been pretty much
Yeah.
already brought up. If
Reasonably.
if they're a fear for physical harm, or if there's evidence of belief in a crime. So what are they supposed to do if they think they're gonna be hurt, they just don't talk? Do you know what I mean? Because that's the way I read that.
I see what you're saying.
It's almost like, okay, so if you don't talk, if you think you're gonna get killed. Do you know what I mean? It's
Right.
one of the, but it's like, okay,
Ha-
but instead
well, then
what
what we
you're supposed to
could,
do,
we,
Right.
we
you
could
just
add,
let it go.
all right, so however, the employee is encouraged to confidentially report.
And that's where I didn't know if we could like say that, you
Yeah.
know, the above was all like,
So we could say something like, however, the employee is encouraged. Oh, isn't it the employee? Yeah, the employee
because I would really hate to
Is
think that any
encouraged.
employee was actually that fearful.
to bring the
of being
matter,
harmed.
to confidentially bring the matter to their, whoever they say over here,
Yeah.
their department head, town administrator, or appropriate governmental agency. Is that okay? Does that sound?
Yeah.
That
Does that
sounds
make sense?
good.
What it-
Yeah.
No, because if they're gonna feel like they're gonna get killed, I want them to be able to
And
talk.
then on,
Yeah.
Because we're pretty much telling them, well, if that's it, just ignore it.
Exactly.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Where you really.
Exactly.
To their department head, TA, et cetera. Okay.
then on F, we want to, there's a typo, unsubstantiated.
Oops. Okay, what letter is it again?
F.
F.
Right underneath the 1, 2, 3.
Oh, what is that? I don't.
So just a T.
Oh,
Now you're
yes.
spelling like Jew.
Substantiated allegation. I didn't do a spell check. The one area here that I did update from Sandy's piece is that one actually, F, because in the board's fraud prevention policy, it addresses unsubstantiated allegations, so I did add that and misspelled it.
False reports
And what else?
in bad faith without
that
a
was really-
justifiable basis may be subject to appropriate disciplinary. Good, okay. That's good.
And I think that was all I did on that one. And then there's, I don't know if we're all set with that one. Then the only other one I did was drug and alcohol, which is on page, I don't know what page it's on, but
Mine
it's,
says 44.
mine's
So yours
40.
is gonna be like-
So L in Sandy's draft is drug-free workplace and M is alcohol and drug use.
Yep.
So what I did under that was I added a reference.
Yeah.
The full drug and alcohol-free workplace policy is included in Appendix L.
Okay,
So you just deleted though the appendix L underneath. L.
Underneath drug-free and then put it underneath M.
Right, but you're not combining the drug-free work, L and M here.
No, I'm not combining L and M, I'm just putting the reference to the
Yeah.
appendix under
Okay.
both of them, unless you want me to. I hadn't thought of it. So on that, the board adopted, and Personnel Committee approved, back in 2019, we approved a drug and alcohol-free workplace policy. So I pasted all of that into Appendix L. And that drug and alcohol-free workplace policy, actually, that policy was taken from a template done by our town council. So I'm
Oh,
pretty
good,
comfortable with that
okay.
one, so.
Speaking to a previous police officer that doesn't work here anymore, they made a comment that there was not supposed to be any alcohol in the building at all. Is that true?
It's not supposed to be on town property.
So should that be? So is she shaking her head because it's true or it's not true?
Well, no, it's true. It's true. There should not be any alcohol in town buildings unless a proper one-day alcohol license or whatever is
Well, I mean,
approved.
even, or, I just didn't know if it was opened or
Bringing,
like unopened. If somebody brings a bottle as somebody's gift. you're not
yeah,
supposed to
that's
give-
a
that's
thing.
different.
Yeah.
But if there's
If they bring it in with a straw, that's not.
if there's a bottle of wine in the refrigerator in the break room,
Right,
which
right.
So, I guess my only question would be,
should it say that there should be no.
Alcohol is prohibited
No
in town
open
buildings?
containers in.
No open containers in town buildings?
Yeah,
I forget how they word that.
I know. Is that, maybe that's something that the police chief could, but I know that was a previous discussion with somebody that,
All right, so we could say the town will take disciplinary action against employees who are under the influence of alcohol or drugs while on duty or possess an open container. I don't even know if I want to say that. We could just say right at the beginning, open containers of alcohol are prohibited in the workplace.
I was gonna say, wasn't there a spot there that talks
Yeah.
about no drugs or alcohol or marijuana? There was a couple of things they thought there was a section.
the
Let's see.
following is prohibited. Off duty, on duty, consumption. So if it says consumption or,
Possession, yeah.
Well,
Doesn't
it
say
depends. If
position.
you actually say alcohol-free workplace, then technically that means nothing.
The use, see this is specific to use. No, it doesn't get into possession.
I mean, does it need to be in there? Is it like a policy of the town?
I don't know, I have any idea what time.
I'm thinking,
I know.
That's okay.
wheels are turning. I think a lot slower nowadays.
Good for you, good for you.
I'm just wondering, because I mean, it could be kind of like it could be problematic if it's not said properly.
Yeah, right,
Well,
right,
think about it,
yeah.
because you know me.
The use of alcohol under policy, under drug and alcohol-free workplace policy, under the first page of it, policy,
Mhm.
the use of alcohol, marijuana, or controlled substances is inconsistent with the behavior expected of employees and subjects the town of Berlin to unacceptable risk of workplace accidents or other failures that would undermine the town's ability to operate effectively and efficiently. Although certain uses of marijuana have been legalized, this policy and the following procedures expressly apply to marijuana use.
On off-duty.
The following is prohibited.
So like on duty, or would you
Yeah.
add a 4 that says on premises, or?
Or should you just put maybe under the whole policy, like under the general policy, that possession of open containers of alcohol in town buildings on town property is prohibited? Again, we're getting into, someone gets a one-day alcohol license to, have something over
Right.
the 1870. It's not prohibited,
Right.
Unless, so you have to
But
say,
you
Right.
shouldn't keep an open container in your desk.
Or in the refrigerator, in the
or in
break
the
room.
refrigerator. Unless it's evidence. Just saying.
maybe you could say possess or use.
Not here, but, police could say that it's evidence.
It's just hard, because if someone gets a bottle of wine,
As a gift. No,
or as a gift, or maybe goes out to lunch and says, well, we're gonna have dinner tonight, and I'm gonna get a bottle of wine, I'm just gonna leave it in the fridge here.
Right, yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you think number 2 covers everything? On duty, any consumption
maybe
of
that covers it.
controlled substances,
Any
marijuana or alcohol, whether on or off town of Berlin property, or at any other work site where employees may be assigned or elsewhere during work hours.
So-
During work hours.
Yeah, maybe that covers it. Good book.
I mean, you could expand it to say possession, use,
I
or
think, no, maybe
consumption.
that's,
Right.
let's just do that.
Think about it.
Let's just do that and
about
see
it.
how it goes and.
All right.
It's,
So we'll say any possession, use, or consumption.
I just,
You know, honestly, when these are in your final form, we should have Labor Council review.
Oh, yeah.
the
Yeah.
set
Right.
anyway.
selectmen are gonna look at it too and probably change things.
Okay, all right, so we'll add possession, use, or.
Yep, okay.
Okay. That was it, and there were a couple of other really, really, really simple ones that I'd love to just check off. Under alcohol and drug use, smoking, this is an easy one. Smoking is prohibited on all town property and all work locations.
Absolutely.
Simple. Safety belts. All personnel are required to wear safety belts when operating or riding in town-owned or leased vehicles or other vehicles, including personal vehicles, while engaged in town-related business.
What page is this one?
Oh, I'm sorry, this is on page 40 on,
So-
oh, no, this is on the page 40 of that one.
Okay,
I didn't do anything with them, but I
All
just
right.
noted that they're
Okay,
very
no, that's-
basic.
No, I think those are, yes.
oh, yeah, good, okay, alcohol and drug use, smoking, safety belts, yep.
Okay, so we'll just check those off and say those don't need any more. Okay. So, it's really whittling down, believe it or not.
Did you do, weather?
I didn't do weather. And the reason I didn't do weather is because what she has in here is so vastly different from the board's policy that it would have taken me
Oh, okay.
a lot
Yeah.
longer.
Okay,
I will work on it, but
Okay.
it's really different than
yep,
what the board adopted.
so,
All right, so that's easy, that's easy. I will make the changes that you talked about tonight.
It's the train, we can't go home anyways right now.
No, yep. Town is blocked.
And I'll look at other municipal examples of this whole licenses and certifications things too,
Okay.
and see if I can draft up a couple of changes.
so we
So-
still have you, let me see if I can find that thing, we still have,
You still?
you had sent us in June, 38 to 44, we wanted to go over those.
Mhm.
Do you still have this memo?
Essentially
I have an
workplace
extra one if
policies.
you want it.
Workplace policies. I'm writing down the title.
Yeah,
That was
workplace
her-
policies. I shouldn't have put pages. It's ridiculous
Yeah.
because they
I have an
change.
extra copy.
Oh, okay. Oh, good, okay.
So 38 to 44, so we still have to look at the severe weather,
Mhm.
but we did the fraud one's approved, right? That one's set. Drug-free workplace, we've completed that one. Okay, and then on page 51, the mobile devices
Thought we
thing.
did that, didn't we? Didn't we do mobile devices?
We didn't do mobile devices. We did something about technology and social media. We
Okay.
worked on those.
Okay.
Okay, and then.
Anything having to do with ethics, I think, is going to be pretty straightforward. The conflict of interest
Yep.
policy, ethics, and because that's really governed by state law.
Right.
So those should be easy.
So the other things you mentioned here were Appendix G, Appendix N, but I didn't write down what they were.
Okay. Appendix G is conflict of interest, so that should be pretty straightforward.
Okay,
Appendix N is workplace violence prevention policy.
okay.
And I believe that should be very straightforward too. I don't think Berlin has ever adopted a workplace violence prevention
Okay.
policy, so we should just review that and make sure that it
All right,
makes sense.
I think it's in something, but it's like a little
I bet you
couple of little words.
I bet you it's back here, isn't it?
It's probably just,
And then the last thing that you noted
This one's
Cool.
I think.
was Appendix P.
Yes. So Appendix P is gonna need feedback from the town's IT contractor,
Okay.
that's the
And that's
access-
IT.
Yeah, that's IT. The same thing with O
Okay.
and P.
O and P.
I know one of the classes we took, we're supposed to
Okay.
actually have employees sign off every year on that they are aware of the policies.
Yes, we should. Oh, that's, yeah, the auditor, yeah. We need to put it together. There is no Appendix B right now. There's just no, it doesn't
Right.
exist. So I think, I don't know if we had talked about it, but I was thinking that might be where, that might be a good place to put a performance improvement plan
Oh,
and refer to that
yep.
as far as performance evaluation.
Do we have any place in here that would explain to a department head how to handle disciplinary actions?
Yes, there's a whole section, and that's Article 8, discipline, dispute resolution, and grievance. That's gonna be something that needs a little bit of a deeper delve to make sure
It's all-
Yep.
it works.
We're getting close, aren't we?
It's getting closer. I mean, it looks like a lot, but we are getting a lot closer. Look, when we have a policy manual like this, and I have an outline here, that's all that's left. Then
That's good.
we're doing okay.
That's good.
Yes.
So next meeting?
Next meeting.
Next meeting will
Meeting
be
in 2
done.
weeks.
Let's see. Yeah.
That's it for me.
Oh, I wasn't making you get to that point, I was just.
Oh no, that's okay. No, it's a good
See,
goal.
Let me just look and see the
But
calendar.
yeah,
So that would be September 7th.
oh. Oh, that's good.
Okay. Yep, that works for me, because I won't be around the following week. Yep, so that one works pretty good for me. The only thing we gotta figure out is meetings, because doesn't finance start back up
21st.
of September? Oh, good, so that'll,
Oh my
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's already budget time,
Oh my God.
starting all over again.
wow. Oh my
Just never
word.
ends.
Yeah.
Didn't we just do that?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can just change to
Yeah.
Tuesdays.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
Maybe we should think about changing till Tuesdays.
I was gonna say.
What
just-
groups meet on Tuesdays?
But you know what, maybe we should, if it's gonna be the 7th, why don't we wait and see what Kristen's schedule is?
Yeah,
Because she will come to
Yeah.
these, so why don't we just wait and see what her,
Could do that.
she might have to go home and feed her dogs. She
Good.
loves her dogs.
She's got 3 dogs. Woohoo!
Oh.
I have a video when we went. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
We're not
Let me
adjourned
just,
yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Okay, so
Okay.
I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.